Step one, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing.
Good morning, everybody. I am JJW. That's Deacon. Deacon. He's Deacon this morning. And he's back from his holiday. So no longer is it necessary to only listen to me prattle on about whatever I talked about yesterday.
How was that yesterday?
Yeah, I talked about some stuff. Honestly, I already threw my notes away. And we talked about so many things that I don't remember. But mostly it was Biden declared the pandemic is over. You know that. Yeah. Pandemic's over. He will not commit to running in 2024, but he will commit to sending troops to die in Taiwan if China attacks Taiwan. Which, those things are crazy. Our foreign policy in with China and Taiwan for like the last 50 years has been like ambiguity. Like maybe we will, maybe we won't defend them. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. Strategic ambiguity. But Biden's just like, oh, we're just going to send people over there to die against China. Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah. And Biden is accused of cooking up fake white supremacy cases, which I'm going to talk a little bit about today.
Okay. Well, I'm glad everything you did yesterday.
Yeah, no problem. It was easy. Well, you know what's not easy is waking up 30 minutes late and then trying to think of a good title for a show. That's not easy. And then I have to make a title card, a little thumbnail-y card,
I have been up for like 3 hours already.
You should be like, if you got title ideas, you should shoot them at me and be like,
hey, what about
this for title?
I've been trying to fix displays and all kinds of stuff in here this morning and get caught up really.
Deacon fixed his monitors, guys. He's got 2 screens now. He's a professional showman with video and notes and things. Oh, look at that. Wow. Inception. It's me looking at me, looking at me, looking at me.
actually
amazing.
have 3 screens if we want to get
Oh,
technical.
it's got 3.
Got
we got 2 computers in there.
I've got 2 computers. I have one computer that completely runs my on-air monitor or my on-air program that programs my music and everything.
Right.
That's when you see me looking this way and typing and doing stuff this way.
Yeah, you're
I'm
doing radio stuff.
I'm doing radio stuff, programming this radio. But yeah, here's my play computers. This is I call them my production computer because I do all my. You see, this is my music editing software that I set, and that's why I wanted 2 monitors, is because I really need one monitor completely controlling this music editing software and everything else on this other one, because I do so much with this right here.
Honestly, don't know how anybody gets anything done with one monitor, like one. There's no way, because I have 2 in my office. I have 2 here, plus I have my laptop here. So the laptop's just sitting on the Discord in case I don't know, in case you send me a message or in case somebody's asking me for moderating something. Whatever. But mostly it's just an extra. And then over here, my right, your left. No, my right, my left. How does this work on the right hand, left of the screen? Yeah, that's normal. That's right. So my right, your left, I have the news stories and whatnot. And then I put your picture up here with the video thing so that I can kind of talk to you, almost look at the camera. That's my way to go. And then it also puts the chat right underneath the camera. So if we do the chat, and anybody says anything, I'll likely catch that. So anyway, that's my setup. Yeah.
That's nice.
Congratulations, sir. I didn't think the HDMI splitter was going to work.
Yeah.
I'm glad you get that sorted out.
Got an HDMI splitter for sale if anybody wants one. No, actually, I might use it at home because when I play Dungeons and Dragons with the kids, I sit over by the computer and they sit over on the around the coffee table and stuff. So I think I might get another monitor. I've got another monitor that I can put and split it that way so that I can show them stuff and keep stuff hidden on my end, like my storytelling stuff. And then
that's awesome.
So
how old are your kids again that play games with you?
The ones that play games with me are 17, 14, and 14.
I have to say, I'm super jealous of that part.
17-year-old girl. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
My kids are 4 and 5, and yesterday we played Sorry, and one of them screamed and ran around the house every time, anytime anything happened. If it was not her turn, then she was throwing the card on the table and then like running around this house and screaming and then grabbing like a pony or something. I don't know what she was doing. She was just all over. And the rest of us were just like, we're just going to skip her turn. And then my older daughter, which will play the game, would be like, draw a card and she reads the number and then she counts like 1, 2, 3, 4, except she's just skipping squares. So she's going like 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, 11, all the way around to home. I'm like, oh, you're really doing pretty good there. And eventually my wife was just like, it's close enough. Let's just not.
Close enough. Yeah. It works. Dude.
5, 7, 11, who cares?
It was said to me, and it's just kind of one of those throwaway lines. You think, oh, the parents are just saying this line, but it really does. That kind of crap, cherish it because it goes so fast. My kids don't do that anymore and run around like Kendra. Like, I don't know. She's my 17-year-old. Like, I don't know, 6 months ago, I guess she was being silly and she was just bunny hopping around the house and giggling and being stupid with the cat and whatnot. And me and Ashley was just kind of like, that's cool. She's being silly. I don't want to be like, stop, because we miss the kids running around and screaming and hollering and making us go, hey, y'all be quiet. I miss that. When I went to my cousin's house this weekend, she lives way up by Davenport, Iowa. And there are 2 things to do up in that country. Drink and
push over cows, tip cows.
Yeah, drink and fornicate. It's the only 2 things.
Yeah.
So my cousin is a year older than me. My oldest child is 17. Okay, and I have 5. Ashley has 2, and I have 3. She has 14 grandchildren, and she is 1 year older than me. I'm not kidding. I'm not lying. 14. And some of them are like with step and whatnot, but she has 14 grandkids and about 12 of them were over there not last night, but the night before. And we cooked out and whatnot with the whole family, and they were running around, and they're all under like 10 years old. They're all under like 8 years old, if we want to get technical. And so
I just got a dozen of my grandkids here.
Yeah. Yeah.
What? And only a dozen.
She's my age. She's a year older than me. She's 46 years old. And so I walked in there and I looked at her and I was like, her name's Billy. I was like, Billy, at what point do you just start freaking numbering them? You know, I would not remember their names. I would just be like, number 8.
Dude, I have to be so honest, man. And I know my kids' names, but like it happens all of the time where I'm talking to one or talking to the other and the names just get swapped. And I'm like, Lily, no, Jill, I'm sorry. Jill, do this. Lily, do this.
I called Deacon my brother Logan and Logan my brother Deacon. Like, not to their face, but like if I'm going to say, you know, my brother, I'll mix their names up all the time.
Yeah. I just don't even know how people with more kids, I'm sorry, I moved that too close. I don't know how people with more kids even remotely handle it. Don't even know. Don't even know. Well, good morning, sir.
Eat up the little screaming, sorry.
Yeah, I know. Here's the thing. In memory, in retrospect, it's adorable and it is fond. However, in the moment, it is, come on, I got places to go. I cannot leave half an hour late for work.
You're right. Let's go. But that's why people like me, your friend, who is farther along on that particular path, can go, JJ, enjoy this shit right now and quit worrying about work or something.
I know. And yesterday, the morning started so good. And then I go down for breakfast and like I make a breakfast and I'm like, get dressed. And then it's like they're dragging their feet and they're not getting dressed and they're doing and then I have to. My daughters have super curly hair. One of them, when she sleeps, it gets all matted up real bad. Yeah. So like it's like you gotta wash, you gotta spray it and condition it and brush it out. And it was like super bad. So it was taking longer and it was just crying and screaming and yelling and not cooperative. And they so fast. And my good morning went so fast to like, come on, girls. Give me just try a little bit.
Do they have thick or thin hair?
Oh, it's super thick. Well, the older daughter is super thick and curly, and the younger daughter is really fine, but she's also a year younger, so maybe it'll thicken up later. But it's really fine, and it gets super knotted up if she's in certain positions.
And they have curly hair. See, as a girl father, my oldest has hair. Every hair strand is like this thick. I mean, she has the thickest, heaviest hair. Yeah. And my youngest has real thin hair.
Yeah.
And so we had, it was a nightmare. I can remember trying to get them to put conditioner on their hair and try to get the conditioner just so you could brush it. And they didn't have curly hair. We had to buy special. God, we went through like 3 or 4 special $20 brushes and brushes.
Yeah. I got like 4 of those. Right
now. We had a thick one and we had one for thin hair and it was purple and pink and so I completely understand. But I was thinking about your girl's hair,
and I'm the one that does the hair most nights.
Gosh,
most times. My wife does the styling, but I do most of the cleaning or whatever.
I tried to learn how to.
This is real dad stuff, guys.
I tried to learn how to do the braid, and I could never.
Yeah,
I know I can get the concept of going. But I can never.
Over,
I can never get it tight enough with the little thing on the end with the tie on the end. I couldn't. It would.
I'll say this about braids. My youngest daughter loves braids. And it takes so long, and I could maybe do it, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. My wife will do it because it takes like 45 minutes. And I'm like, no, I'm going to put her hair in a ponytail or something. I am not messing around with doing a braid for her for like an hour. And then she's going to go and walk around and pull it out. And then like, no. Anyway, good morning, Manuel. Man, okay. Is it Is it man? Do you pronounce it Manuel or Manuel? I'm going to assume it's Manuel unless you type a U. If you type a U, then I'll remember for this episode only that it's Manuel.
Okay, so
I'm going to assume it's Manuel.
Okay, so I worry about this too because my last name is Rudd, Rudd, and in German that is pronounced Rude. So I get called Mr. Rude a lot, which is not a big mispronunciation. Okay, and I try to accommodate because I work in radio and I'm constantly like reading this kind of stuff and whatnot.
Right.
I try to accommodate. And oh, hang on, let me delete this song. That's a shitty song. Okay. So I'm doing this football announcing right now for my buddy, and I'm trying to announce all their names. It's middle school, but I'm trying to announce their names when they score and they do stuff to make them feel better. And I mispronounce some of these people's names, and it's not. I was telling this woman the other night because she come up there and she was a little snotty, and she was like, "It's a name out, not animal," and I was like, okay, ma'am, you don't have to be snotty. I didn't do it on purpose. I mispronounced the name. Now I will pronounce it right. You don't have to be an asshole about it. I didn't do it on purpose.
So
I tried. I mean, there was two names, they weren't where they were proper names, but they were Mexican city names. This morning in my news, because one of my stories, I do local news, but I was reading about the 7.6 earthquake that shook Mexico yesterday.
Oh.
And then I said the quake was centered 23 miles southeast of Aquila, in which I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, near the boundary of, and then it's like Colima and Michoacan.
Right.
And I don't want to. So I just, so because I work on this little country station, I just went southeast of Aquila near the boundary of two states that I cannot pronounce at a depth of about.
I mean, almost certainly you are mispronouncing it, right? Like, even if you think you're saying it right and you like use all the
right, I'm not like, rolling the R or something. Which I understand. I'm not trying to be rude.
I couldn't say it right either.
Okay. Ruffles have ridges.
Let's talk about some news. Let's start with something a little wacky this morning. A little wacky. And then we'll do some more serious stuff. We're going to shake it up.
Okay, I have a couple of things that we can kind of touch on and talk about.
All right. Okay.
Just one little thing that we've noticed. But you can go ahead. We can do whatever.
Oh, okay. Deacon, have you ever heard of the Shroud of Turin?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And what do you think about the Shroud of Turin? Have you ever thought like, oh, that's maybe real? Or have you always been like, I don't know?
I don't know. You don't want to think that it's real, but you want to think that it's a relic that maybe was around, that, a lot of people hold stuff. We've turned things that weren't actually relics into holy relics. If you think about it, and this is one of those. I think
I've always thought that the Shroud of Turin was and it may. I still kind of think it's not real. I always thought it was a
and for those
like
that don't,
hoax from like the 7th century or something like that.
Ooh, Jeremy helped me. Micho Ukan. Okay, and so if people that are listening that don't know, I'm sure they do, but maybe somebody don't that's watching it later. The Shroud of Turin was the burial cloth of Jesus. Allegedly, it was the burial cloth that, again, they wrapped the body and they did certain stuff to the body, but this is the burial cloth of Jesus, and supposedly it has his visage on it, his image.
Yeah. So
something.
Jesus was like hung on a cross, but before he was hung on a cross, he was whipped with cat o' nine tails. He was he had the crown of thorns on him, so he was a bloody mess when they were done with him before they even put him on the cross. And if you've ever seen that movie, what's that movie by Mel Gibson?
Passion of the Christ.
Passion of the Christ. So that's pretty visceral. Like it's getting a sequel, I think. So it's a pretty visceral image. So it bloodied up Jesus, died on the cross, and then his followers took his body down, and then they would have cleaned his body as good as they can, right? And then they would have wrapped it in this Shroud of Turin. And the idea is that the blood from his person that was still remaining seeped into the shroud and left these marks on here. So you have like, I guess it's like the front and back, and then maybe his hands would have been there. So that would have been like those little dots could have been like the blood from his puncture wounds or whatever. Yeah. Anyway, so this BDU group says the Shroud of Turin.
Oh, wait a minute. Before you get into that real quick, I just want to point out, because I didn't know this. I just looked it up because I was like, how did it get its name? Why is it called Turin? Shroud of Turin. Over the past centuries, many people have claimed to have found Jesus' original burial cloth. One of the most famous candidates is the Shroud of Turin, so named because it has been housed in the Cathedral of St. John the Baptist in Turin, Italy since 1578. So that's why it's called the Shroud of Turin, because it's in Turin, Italy. I didn't know that.
Oh, so and I had always thought that it was an artist's like hoax. So somebody had taken this shroud and had like painted into it, so that it looked like blood or something like that. I just think it was a hoax. This person, BDU group, who has a PhD in anthropology, according to his Twitter bio.
Well, that's it all, JJ. God,
I have a PhD in astrology. So, so I don't know. Shroud of Turin is quite interesting with the amount of scientific data we now have.
I graduated from the School of Hard Knocks.
Undeniable proof that Christ rose from the dead. Undeniable proof, according to this guy. So he has a thread here. The fake news.
Christians don't need
comments frequently on the Shroud of Turin,
right? If you're a Christian, you should not need undeniable proof that Christ rose from the dead. You should know he rose from the dead and believe it with all your heart.
Yeah, I got my proof, and my proof is that it has nothing to do with a piece of dirty piece of cloth. I got my own proof. Fake news would like you to believe the Shroud is a medieval forgery, which is what I believed. I believed it was a medieval forgery. I think it does. We don't need it. It doesn't, research of the linen alone undeniably shows that Shroud is much older than the medieval ages. Much older, Deacon. So, what are you going to sit with that fact?
So we have linen that was around during that time. I think
old linen.
We do have old linen, but how is that undeniable proof that it's Christ?
Well, the average from three independent chemical and mechanical analysis dates it back to 33 BC.
Okay.
Give or take 250 years.
That's fine. Okay. If I will believe, I do not find it, I will believe that if Christ died, when Christ died, they would have made a brand new linen. They wouldn't have been like,
I imagine they would have got the best they could add.
The absolute best. He would have been wrapped in the best piece of cloth. Brand
they would have.
New.
I mean, they had a rich dude give up his own grave that he had carved out for himself, and they had a rich dude give it up for Christ, right? So I imagine that they would have like also provided some linen or whatever you need to, handle a dead body. However, what 100% debunks the forgery is forensics.
Okay.
We throw some science words at you. If it was a forgery, it would be the most perfect forgery ever created with an absolute genius who predicted things that were not known to science before the 20th century. Every single bloodstain is forensically correct.
Okay, wait. Hold up.
Forensically correct.
If it is a blood stain on there and they can figure out.
Could it just be any dead body's person?
That's what I'm asking. How do we know that it's Jesus? I'm not trying to be a denier, but I'm
not either.
Like questions.
Okay, it's real linen with real blood on it, and it's real old. They hung a lot of people up on crosses. Romans were real good at this. They were like, "Oh, would you steal an apple? Crucified." Anyway, so it's forensically correct bloodstains.
Okay.
And the blood of the shroud is the same type of blood of ancient Hebrew burials, whatever that means. The blood group of it. There's only in there like 8 blood groups, or let's see, the A, B, A positive, B positive, O negative. How many? Is there 6?
The blood
AB,
group
and there's an AB.
Only discovered in 1977. Plant pollens that are specific to Jerusalem. Dirt particles are also consistent.
I feel like this dude's reaching real hard.
Well, I mean, if it is true, I don't think that's reaching. I personally don't look at it as reaching hard. I look at it as, okay, that's very interesting to me.
Okay.
That if you did find on an ancient, like let's say, for example, the Dead Sea Scrolls. So if folks don't know what the hell the Dead Sea Scrolls are, some goat farmer was in freaking Saudi Arabia or over there in the Middle East, and his goat runs into a cave, and he goes into the cave and he finds all these freaking, he digs around, he sees all these pots or whatnot. Inside these pots are a bunch of freaking scrolls, and on these scrolls are all these things from the Bible that's written,
right.
But there's also other things that aren't in our Bible that were in there.
Right.
So we were like, oh my God, what is this? Because this is definitely our Bible, but this is not our Bible. So it was very interesting. So let's say it was the Dead Sea Scrolls. So let's say we did all this, and this dude's like, okay, well, we have done this forensic shit, and we found dirt that was around that same time because it has this and this.
The right dirt
and
particles.
Fucking pollen from the olive trees that grew. I would be like,
right,
all right, that's cool. That kind of proves it to me.
Sweet. This is a real old piece of cloth.
So that's what me and you are, I guess, agreeing on. This is an old ass piece of cloth, but was it Jesus? Did it wrap Jesus's body?
Oh, look, he's answering our questions. Someone could say that the shroud could just be a random burial cloth from the 1st century, but it's not.
Read.
Everything about the man of the shroud is consistent with the Jesus Gospels. Nothing similar appears in any other description of Roman crucifixions. How many descriptions do you think there are of how many Roman crucifixions do you think there were? Because I think there was a lot. I think that was some people's full-time jobs, and I don't think everybody that got crucified got a write-up. I don't think there was enough documentation done.
If it is real, that's great. That's awesome that we still have a relic. Any religion that's really awesome that any religion can keep a relic like that of their religion for so long, or something like, just from a step.
I honestly think I think it's a weakness
standpoint. You're right too.
Okay, all right.
You're right too. But Christianity has some of these relics like this. Staff of Longinus. The some people call it the spear of destiny, the staff of Longinus.
This is so great. This is so going to go into like another thing I was going to do. Okay, this is so great.
I mean, what do you think about the spear of destiny, the staff of Longinus? The Longinus who stabbed Christ, and as soon as he stabbed Christ and the blood and the water came out, he immediately realized that he was the Son of God, and he was immediately, repentant, and he spent the rest of his days preaching about Christ and repenting. And that spear that stabbed Christ supposedly went on to be held by the greatest leaders and the greatest conquerors of the world. And supposedly Hitler was actively looking for the spear of destiny, and I believe it was in Italy, hidden in Venice the whole time. Then he didn't know it, that they ended up finding it, and supposedly finding what we say now as the spear of destiny in Venice. If it was me and I knew where the real spear of destiny was, the shit that the public saw would not be the real spear of destiny. No one would ever.
Hey, you can get the staff of Longinus on Etsy, dude.
Oh, you can? Sweet.
Yeah, awesome. It's on
How
Etsy.
Much?
Let me see. Etsy, staff of Longinus. $270.58.
Hell, that's pretty. That's
it's not too bad. Yeah. So, all right. So, I mean,
I've always liked the Longinus.
Okay, so this is getting so weak, Dr. Ugroyopa or whatever. This is so weak. It could be anybody. It's not. It matches the description of Jesus. Okay. I mean, all right, dude. The theory is that it's a forgery, also debunked since ultraviolet spectrometry, infrared spectrometry, fluorescent spectrometry, thermography, pyrolysis, mass spectrometry, whatever. Let me throw some words at you that you're not even going to bother looking up. You're just going to say that, okay, fine, whatever. It's not painted. Okay, it's not painted.
And I'm sorry. Not one person alive knows what Jesus looked like. Not one person. We can all speculate and we can all do educated guesses that are probably pretty damn close, but not one of us knows what he looked like. And
probably looked like a Mediterranean Jewish guy.
He probably looked, and you're exactly right. And what this is, you're getting what I was fixing to say. He probably looked like a Mediterranean Jewish guy, a dime of freaking 3 dozen.
Yeah.
I bet him and his disciples they all had the beard and the hair and the dirty because they're walking all the freaking time.
Yeah. All right. So
there's a lean faced man with a beard and long hair. That's all of them. That's all of us. You know, except for some of us. We don't have long hair, but
don't be jealous of Jesus. Come on, man.
Oh, no. I'm jealous of you and your hot and tight.
I got hair product in today. I'm trying to look good for the show. Look at that. I got sticky stuff or whatever. I hate putting stuff in my hair. But, for the show, for you.
I appreciate you putting on your makeup for me.
All right. The theory that it's forged is also debunked since ultraviolet whatever. I already read that one.
Okay, yeah.
Some more forensics, 100 plus scourge marks are perfectly okay. So it's old and it's real. It's a real burial cloth. Nobody. That doesn't mean there's no driver's license in here. There's no ID. There's no way to say this is absolutely Jesus's. The pattern of the scourge marks is also consistent. It's so consistent. It's unfeasible. I don't even know what a scourge mark is. Oh, it looks like it would be made by a flagrum. So it'd be made by a cat of 9 tails.
Yeah, like a whip, a scourge. Right. There's one called a scourge.
Couldn't reproduce it.
So I guess if the Catholic Church wanted to release any information that maybe Jesus' blood did continue down the years, they could test it with the supposed samples on the Shroud of Turin, but that would cause a big, huge uproar, and that would be
whoever this dude is totally believes whatever he's saying. So
that's cool.
Anyway,
cool.
Yeah, that's good for him.
I'm not going to dog him. I'm not going to dog this particular guy.
So
good for him.
I mentioned a minute ago that the Passion of the Christ, right? There is a sequel to that in the works, I believed, and it will come out in 2024. It's called The Passion of the Christ Resurrection, and it is also directed by Mel Gibson. So look, and Jim Caviezel is back as a producer, so he's probably acting in it as well. So it just the idea of the Passion of the Christ sequel is pretty funny to me. But you mentioned the Staff of Longinus.
It's not. I don't think it's funny. I think it is. I'm
not saying the first movie was funny.
No. That's nothing. That's not what I meant. I mean, I think it's almost like a bastardization, a money making. To me, I'm sorry, it looks like a money making thing. They're like,
maybe he's got more story he wants to tell. I don't know what he wants to tell. Maybe I'll watch it. Oh, that's a fan made trailer. Okay, here we go. Check this out. Keanu Reeves has announced a return as DC's Constantine. Did you ever watch Constantine?
I watched the first one, and it was really freaking good. And I want to watch.
I love this movie.
3 of them?
No, there's only this one. There's a TV show that they.
What was the one that's got 3 movies? John Wick. I watched the first John Wick.
And John Wick. Oh yeah. No,
I didn't watch the Keanu Reeves Constantine.
You have not.
No, I do know about Constantine.
You gotta watch this, dude.
I love the character John Constantine on Legends of Tomorrow.
This is very different.
Okay. I imagine, but it's the same character, isn't it? Like comic book wise.
Yeah, it's the same character, okay. But this is an awesome movie. Let me tell you, I've
always wanted to watch it. It's just one of those that I just never got around.
First scene opens up with the Staff of Longinus.
Oh, really?
The Spear of Destiny. Yes, it's in this movie. And John Keanu Reeves plays John Constantine, and he doesn't play like an English version of John Constantine. So it's very parted from the source material in that way. It's a straight up like Keanu Reeves like mystical action movie or whatever, but it's super fun. And the guy that plays the devil in this, Peter Strymore, best devil ever on film, absolutely ever. He is so great anytime he's on screen. So they're making a sequel to John Constantine. I am down for it. I have it on DVD, I think, or something like that. So, Jeremy agrees with me. Peter Stormare, Satan in Constantine is fantastic. He's he's only bested by Ray Wire's Satan in Reaper. I don't know that I've seen Reaper. He says Ray Wise. I don't know that I've seen Reaper, but I have seen Peter Stormare. His Dirty Devil is the best ever. It's just so icky and filthy. It's super, super gross. So this is gonna be a great movie, and I have to put this on the Deacon must watch list of movies. You gotta see this movie. It is fun. It is straight fun. What's the name of the actress that plays the Angel Gabriel? She's always really, really good. And she's anyway, we'll talk about it again another time or something. Okay, so all right, so that's the fun stuff this morning. That's the fun stuff. Okay, let's start.
All right, I'm sorry, man. I wanted to hear that, but I'm sorry.
Yeah. So anyway, you gotta watch Constantine. You gotta watch the Keanu Reeves Constantine. It's 90 minutes. It is. You will not regret watching it. You're just gonna be like, it's fun.
I know it's on my buddy's Plex, so I'll watch that today. I looked for your movie, Idiocracy, on his Plex, and he doesn't have it. And I messaged him, and I don't know if he.
That one is on my stack. You can't see it. It's right up there. It's right up here in my limited stack of like nerd
DVDs.
Stuff. Yeah, I got a DVD of that one. I have I think I have it. I have it. Yeah, I got a box of them in my garage, and I have Constantine on DVD. I can't say the last time I put my own movie in a DVD player. Right. I put my kids' movies in a DVD player. Do you have any VHS?
You have any VHS left?
Yeah, but I have no VHS player.
I know we do too. I ask Ashley.
I don't have many.
Why the hell are we keeping this Land Before Time VHS?
Is Jeremy, is Reaper that show that Kevin Smith did?
No, Reaper is a show that was I watched it. I love that show. It had Ray Wise as the devil, and this kid that played wasn't he in Can't Hardly Wait? I don't remember. I don't remember the kid that played the main character, but I really liked the actor.
Yeah.
Basically, his mom and dad sold his soul to the devil when he turned 18.
Yeah.
And when he turned 18, he's like, "What the hell?" And so he has to work for the devil. He's like a ghostwriter. He escapes lost soul. It was a good little show.
That was actually like a Kevin Smith show.
Oh, it was?
Yeah. He was.
I didn't know that.
He directed and produced the first episode, the pilot.
That's funny how I inadvertently loved that show.
I liked it, and you're right.
It wasn't the dude from Can't Hardly Wait. That's the kid from there was a sitcom on in the 90s, the late 90s, called Grounded for Life. With Donald Logue as the dad, and
okay.
And that was a really good show. If you see Grounded for Life on, that is a very well written comedy. That one's a good one. And he was the next door neighbor kid. That he was a good actor. Yeah.
No, that was a fun show.
Yeah.
It's a fun show. Like the not the cast, the characters in the show are like super underachievers, every one of them. And
his best friend.
They barely want to try.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, that's
it's
good.
A good show.
That's like my buddies.
I still think Peter Stormare, difficult name to say for me. Peter Stormare's devil is still the best devil. Every time anybody else plays a devil on screen, I'm always like, not as good as Constantine. Constantine's the best.
The Comic Con that we went to in Lexington this year I walked by Ray Wise. He was like 4 feet from me because I remember going, "There's Ray Wise." That was really cool. And Ashley's like, "Who?" Like, it's Ray Wise. And
did you not get a photo?
No, you had to wait in line, pay money. We were just kind of doing the walk around. The free walk
I would
around.
have been like selfie in front of the line and be like, that's the Ray Wise line.
You couldn't even take out your phone. Ashley started to take out her phone to take the picture of what's his name from Titanic, and she almost got in trouble.
That's the break line right there of who's fans and who's not fans. Like, if you're like, oh, I love this guy, you gonna pay money to stand in line? No, dude, I'm not.
Okay, this is how I look at it.
When I say love, I mean I just like. I'm not paying money to stand in line.
I'm a fan of their work. And I appreciate what they do, but I'm not gonna like goo goo and gaga and goo goo gaga over them. That's not me. You're a fucking human being. You take a shit and wipe your ass just like I do, man. You may have somebody to wipe your ass, but you fart, you burp, you pick your nose. Just why? I've never understood the one person. If you could say, Deacon, you can meet any person right now. Who I would want to meet the lead singer for Fish. I would want to meet Trey Anastasio from Fish. And it's only so that I could talk to him about music. I don't want to gush over him. I want to have a conversation with him about music. You know, I want to sit down and talk about, you know, the music industry and how they had to go through what they did with touring, as opposed to now when kids can just film themselves singing on TikTok for a minute and a half and they become famous. And Fish had to tour for like 30 freaking years to get to where they are. And there's kids that are making more money than they are now. And they're one of the biggest bands that's ever, you know, they're one of the most money-making bands in the history of music. And so, you know, I would never gush over the celebrity. So no, that's Ashley's like, you want to pay for Giancarlo Esposito was over there, and John C. McGinley from Scrubs or McGinley or whatever his name is. And I love them too, but I was just like, no.
I honestly struggle to even think of anybody that I'd be like, oh, I want to meet you and just talk to you for a while.
Would pay? Is there any celebrity that you would pay for their autograph?
Pay for their autograph?
Yeah. And I don't want to insult people that pay for stuff like that because everybody collects stuff.
Yeah, I'm not really. I don't think so. Maybe. You know what? No, let me take that back. I have several artists that I have paid for their autographs, and not, but I did it because I backed a certain level that I was going to get something, and they signed all the books. And when it was on the list of. Yeah, I paid for a signed version of something
that came with an autograph.
I would have bought it if it didn't have the autograph, but it did, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." But otherwise, I'm just like, I'm not really very. I think I appraise myself as not being very starstruck by people. I kind of just think like, yeah, people will like whatever. Oh, that's somebody over there. That's cool. Although one time I was at a football game with my wife way back in like the early 2000s, and Jay-Z and Beyonce were like right down there, and I was like, "What up, Jay-Z? Beyonce, cool. Queen Bee." They didn't listen. I was in row 0 or double A on the 50-yard line. I was like, they were like 15 feet away.
I'm surprised they didn't turn around and have their bodyguards pick you up and throw you out.
I'm gonna be honest. At the time, I was also like, and my wife was like, "Oh, look, it's Beyonce and Jay-Z," and I was like, "Oh, okay." And then I hollered at him because otherwise I would have been like, "I don't know who that is."
Oh yeah. I got to sit on the stage during a Charlie Daniels band concert behind Taz, his keyboardist, like 10 feet from Charlie Daniels, playing the fiddle and doing all this stuff, and like looking out at the crowd like they see it. But I was like back on the stage a little.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, that was a pretty awesome experience.
See, that's the kind of thing you couldn't even like imagine, like, oh, that would be something I would want to do. Like, you would never even, but you find yourself there and you're like, this is dope.
Yeah, and that was a complete fluke accident type thing. It was not paid for. It was a crazy story how that happened. It was so. I've talked to a bunch of people in radio. I've met a lot of people in radio.
I don't know. We should think about that some more. I'm not sure that there's anybody that I would just be. I don't know. Maybe I can. Maybe if I really thought, I'd be like, oh, that would be cool. But even that would be cool, would be like, I really like could take it or leave it. Like I don't really have any interest in meeting popular people, meeting stars.
I don't either. If I can interview them for the radio and get a bit out of it, you know.
Yes. If I could take advantage of it somehow.
Yeah, that's how I look at it. Because if I can interview you, and the one thing, if I can, I always ask them at the end. Yeah, I always ask them at the end. I'm like, can I get you to say one thing for me? And they're always like, yeah, sure. And I'm like, well, give me
the name of the show.
I'm listening. My favorite radio station is blah 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 blah, and they'll say it. I'm like, thank you. So I want to bring up a couple of one of the things that I wanted to say, because I saw it this morning. I was like, oh, let me see if I can get some news about this. How long did you? I wanted to ask you this before we got into the story. Are you finished mourning the Queen, and how long was your mourning period for her?
I forgot she died.
Oh.
Do you know how hard it is to swipe past all the royal news? I'm like, I don't give a shit about King Charles or Prince Harry or who the fuck these people are. Nothing to do with me. Get out of my news feed.
Did you see there was a meme going around of Charles, and it's like his mom's been gone for one day and he can't button his jacket. He's standing there with his jacket all mismatched button. It's completely off. Yeah, Charles. So I saw this morning all this crap. I've been watching, seeing the news of these 14, 24-hour queues and all this, and people going by. Did you see as a spider crawled across the Queen's coffin? Oh, I don't know.
No, I didn't. I did not know that. I'm not paying any attention other than I saw Joe Biden was stuck in row 14 of the of the funeral procession or whatever. He was 14 rows back.
Yeah. Okay, so wait, let me pause this here. Let me pull it up on my screen. Oh, which screen are you going to get? Oh, I guess so here we go. You see the spider crawling on the Queen's coffin there? So
I wonder if it's after what is it, like Crumbs and Whey or something like that?
Curds and Whey.
Curds and Whey. Yeah, it's after Curds.
So all this coverage of the Queen's death has gotten a little overboard. I've seen a lot of stuff where they're criticizing, I don't know which one of the girls, Megan or Christina or Becky. I don't know which one. They keep criticizing. They're having like lip readers talk about reading Camilla's lips, talking about what she's saying. They're picking on Harry, saying that Harry's not singing the words and he's not singing God Save the King. Do you think this has turned into is it really mourning, or have we turned into a business? Like the media knew that they were going to make big money out of this, and people, not just the media, but you've got professional lip readers reading these people's lips,
right?
And then you have the balls, you have the fucking gonads to tell me that to respect their mourning period, to let them screw you.
Yeah. No, this is hours and hours of cheap content for news networks, newspapers. These are cheap stories to run. That's all this is for 98%, 99.9% of the world. For this group of 50 people, that is them burying their grandma.
Yeah,
and for everybody else in the world, this is alone. But you know what? They're part of this. They are ginning up, with these elaborate ceremonies and all of this, and how important it is for the the succession of the nation and passing of the sovereign and all that stuff. And I'm just like, you guys are, it's a pretend monarchy, and a fiction to which the entire United Kingdom is participating in this fiction, when you know that your actual government is whatever people you elected and whatever they're lying to you about.
That I mean, yeah, I don't like that. I didn't like the woman. I don't like that. I don't like any of it.
I don't care about her,
and I don't care about her. But I do care about the fact that, like you said, it's these people's grandmother, and it's these people's, great grandmother and whatnot.
You know what I find most disturbing,
and even though, I mean, it's a part of their family, so quit reading.
I'm 100% with let people mourn their family.
Let them mourn. They have to do it a certain way, and that sucks. And whatever. But I don't give two shits. Let them mourn.
So
people do weird things.
If I were in the UK, I would be like, we don't have a king and queen. We don't have a monarchy. It's the 21st century.
And a lot of people.
I don't live in the UK, so I'm outside of it. You know what I find disturbing is that does King Charles actually, in his mind, in the deepest part of his mind, say, "Oh, I know that we're a constitutional monarchy. I know that the electors but deep down in there, part of his mind is he like, but I am the king. I am the descendant of the kings of England. I am King Charles III. You know what I mean? Does he really down in there think that? Because if so, that is so.
No,
awful.
I think probably, because I think that type of thinking is probably in the DNA of a lot of those royals.
Yeah.
They just think because their blood is royal blood and pure that they are just better than me and you.
Right.
You know?
I don't know.
I didn't vote for you. What was that on the Holy Grail?
I mean,
just because some moistened tot lobbed a scimitar at me doesn't make me basis for government.
I don't give one half of a crap about the monarchy of the United Kingdom. And if you are in the UK, do not take that as a slight against your country. You guys do whatever you want, but this stuff is like all over my newsfeed, and I can't get out of it. And I feel bad that you lost your grandma if you're in the UK and you lost somebody that's important to you. I don't know why, but you have my sympathies, but like the world's going on and I just don't get it. I don't get it. So
my name's Dennis.
And you don't need me to get it. You don't care what I think. That's what I think. Okay. Deacon.
JJ.
Would you now you may not believe this, sir. This is a highly incendiary type of accusation. So I just don't know if you will even if you will even countenance the idea. But a whistleblower has alleged to Congressman Jim Jordan and maybe some others. Yeah, definitely Jim Jordan. Whistleblower has alleged that the Federal Bureau of Investigation, you're not going to believe this, the FBI is scheming to distort January 6 cases into a nationwide domestic violent extremism epidemic.
Those are a lot of big words, JJ.
Some crazy person is saying that the FBI would scheme to inflate and lie about what people are doing in order for some nefarious purpose. Would you believe that something like that would even happen? This is America. Come on, guys.
If you didn't gasp at that, you're not a gasper.
So this is a pretty interesting story, and I don't know if this credibility holds water. You never know with a whistleblower, because it could be somebody that got fired and then is just like, well, I'm going to go to the news media and say some shit, and you're going to have to deal with it. So you never know. But maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I don't know. But check this out. He's alleging that for the January 6 cases, right? So I'm sure that you're aware that on January 6th there was a protest that in
this
part
year?
It wasn't this year. It was in I don't know if you even heard about it.
I've never heard about it.
It was about 7 months after. No, there was like this there was this event where where, you know, Washington, D.C. buildings were set on fire and there were like people in the streets. And yeah, that was in May of 2019. And then like 7 months later, there was this election. And then in January, no, it was in 2019. And then in January of 2020, there was a little protest and it got a little rioty and nobody got killed except by the government. And then ever since then, Democrats have been running these January 6th commissions to try to find all the crooks, find all the
they're trying to take over the country. All the rioters from
all the rioters and the what's the word? There's an I word.
Did all the rioting that destroyed all those cities for years?
Yeah,
they're trying to find all those rioters and all those Democrats cities that burned down all those cities. Is that what you're saying?
No, not those. No, that's
not those people.
Not the people that burn stuff down. Not the people that burn down a guard shack. Not the people that assaulted people.
What's happening with all those people that rioted and burned down cities for years?
It was the Democrats are after the insurrection tourists that were taking selfies with police officers and walking into the building because they think that if you walk into a building, then you own the country at that point. So if you walk into a building with no guns and you're taking selfies, that will confer to you the authority to run the country. That's the Democrats think. So they're after all of these insurrection tourists. So there was I don't know.
I'm not saying anything. A picture is worth 1,000 words. And I've seen pictures of the riots in the cities where they were burning down stuff and setting cars on fire and stuff. And I've seen the pictures of the riots in January the 6th and where they're walking through the queue lines, you know, and getting a little rowdy. And there's a Buffalo guy. You know, I've seen those pictures, and those pictures. All I'm saying is that they're
like here's a picture. See you can see these guys right here are seriously doing insurrection with
we need to like
with the selfies. They're doing serious insurrection here.
I just don't understand. I was just confused. I don't think I completely understood what was going on. Is why I asked for you to kind of clarify. Do you believe that?
Check this out. Here's what the
convincing?
Yeah,
I mean, is my acting skills getting better?
Acting?
Yeah.
So here's what's going on. All of the January 6th stuff happened in DC. And so there was like, I don't know, let's say 200 cases, but I don't know how many cases there are. Those cases are being investigated by the FBI, and they are supposed to run those cases out of the WFO, the Washington Field Office. So it should be one office, Washington Field Office, should be running, let's say, 200 cases of investigating these insurrectionists that are taking selfies and, you know, breaking windows, maybe doing real hard trespassing.
You'd break the law, you freaking go to jail.
Period. Yeah, right.
Break the law, go to jail.
That's the way it's supposed to go. FBI Washington Field Office is supposed to be investigating these cases because it happened in their area, and that's the way normally the FBI is doing it. But here's what the FBI is doing. They're taking these cases, and they're sending some paperwork to all their other field offices, but they're still running the case out of Washington. So they're sending some of the case file to like Minnesota or Texas or Florida or all these different offices. And then they are saying, well, we have this mass increase in cases of domestic violent extremism, which are just the cases out of the Washington Field Office. But they're saying, oh, well, we got cases in Florida. We got cases in Texas. We got cases. Yeah. Faking. Okay. That is what they're saying they're doing here.
Okay.
The manipulative case file practice creates false and misleading crime statistics instead of hundreds of investigations stemming from a single black swan incident at the Capitol. FBI and Department of Justice officials point to significant increases in domestic violent extremism and terrorism around the U.S. So they are sending these cases out to these other offices. And then they're claiming that there's cases all over the country, and they're using that as the narrative to say that there's an increase in DVE and white nationalism and white supremacy and a bunch of other stuff.
Do you know if there is an increase in white whatever? Do you know why? JJ, do you know what my personal opinion is on why there is an increase of
they're
white?
They're reporting.
Why do you
White
think?
supremacists joining white supremacy groups in prisons.
In prisons, that's where it's going? In prisons?
Yeah, they're reporting white supremacists joining organizations in prisons because
Right.
otherwise you're going to get butt effed or
Right.
you're going to get shanked. So
You've
you got
got
to join a group for
you've got
protection.
to join a group for protection. I've
Yeah,
watched Oz.
and they're underreporting. They're underreporting the other
And when those guys get
gangs.
out, do they think that those types of gangs only exist in prison? No, they work outside of prison. They make money. They make a lot of
Have you
money.
ever met? Maybe it's just the area I live in. I've never met a white supremacist.
I will
I don't know
tell
any.
you the truth.
I don't know where they're
tell
at.
you the truth. I will tell you the truth.
Okay.
And this was when I could drive 16, 17, 18. So that would have been the early 90s. 90 I hear a train coming, so you're going to hear it. 92,
okay.
93, something like that. I don't remember 92, 93, 94. I remember driving through a city that was in our county, and you went through the little stoplight, and there was some. Hang on, I'm between two roads. There's a road here and a road here.
Ooh,
and I sat right in the freaking middle, so they blow their horn the whole way through.
It's like they know they're passing the radio station, and
there's a tower. They know there's little signs in the window. They know we're a radio station.
Please don't. Oh, you did it again.
Yeah. I'm like, what were we talking about?
Well, we were talking about the FBI overstating cases. You were talking about, I don't know what, white supremacy.
Oh, I was going through our little town when I was like 16 years old, and there was these normal guys just standing there at the stoplight, handing out, like little cards. They weren't full pieces of paper, but they were little cards, and they didn't have one. They just were normal looking guys standing there handing out these cards, and I just took a card and went on, and it was for a KKK meeting.
Oh, okay.
For a meeting for the KKK, and it said, do you this and this and this, and come out. And I remember sitting at Pizza Hut with my buddies, and like some time later, and one of my other buddies brought up, hey, I went through the stoplight the other day, and this dude handed me this card, and I was like, I did too. And we were talking about it, and he joked. He said, we are to go just to see what they say. And we were like, yeah, just to see what they're saying, but
hello, FBI, this is the KKK. Our memberships are up this week a whole lot. We've got like 2 new members.
We had handed out some flyers to some kids, but no, that is the truth. That really happened. And me and my buddy were like, we joked about it. We never went, of course, but we joked about it because he was like, oh, maybe wonder what they say. But for people to think that crap is not still around, the people that are like my grandparents' age that are passed away now. I mean, these are like, my grandfather was born in 1919, but those people that age that are passing away, they can remember when they were children of the Klan in our area going around, and I mean, they weren't like hanging people and stuff like that, but there was
trying to do public intimidation, probably.
Right. There was one story that we heard that there was a gentleman, and I don't know if this is true, if it's one of those urban legend type stories, but there was this gentleman that when he would, and this was very common if you look at history at this point of American history, men in the late 1800s and early 1900s, a lot of the men, when they would get their paychecks, sometimes they would just go and drink it all away, and spend their whole money drinking, and they wouldn't support their family. Their kids were starving. Their wives were starving, and they would go home drunk, and they would beat their wives. And they were doing this. This is what we heard that this guy was doing, and what we heard that the members of the Klan went to his house and beat the living shit out of him and drug him out to his front yard and basically told him to straighten his ass up. and to quit spending his money on drinking and blah blah blah. And and you know that you kind of wonder, is that true? Is that an urban legend that has been associated with this particular group, that if you go somewhere else it's associated with another group, or if it's associated with this? You know, you don't know what to believe.
I don't know.
So
all I know is, I mean, look, are there people that are white supremacists? Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, and
are they out there? Are they out there burning stuff down? I haven't seen it.
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
How come you can't get these guys on camera? They're like ghosts.
But you're right on that story. What that story was talking about with in prisons. It's
inflated. Yeah, it is in prisons. Too.
Yeah.
Look, for sure it's in prisons. There's people who are racist, and you know what? The kind of policies that are being put in place, like, oh, we're going to segregate we're going to have on college campuses, we're going to have meeting rooms that are for people of color only, all whites out. You start segregating, like the left is bringing back segregation.
You're exactly right. I've said that before. It's like,
what's going to happen when you cut all the white people out of everything? They're going to be like, I guess we're on our group again.
To be segregated again, but this time they want to punish white people. Right.
Yes.
So it's like,
it's all about power.
So it's like all these people that said all this stuff that people like in the 60s about equality and whatnot.
Oh, they don't believe in equality.
It's like you're
do not believe in
kissing in their face.
They absolutely are.
Of these people that you revere, you're pissing in their face.
If you bring up Martin Luther King and the Dream, they will tell you that he is like a racist or something. Like they do not care about they do not hold the same. The people that are pushing for segregation, people that are pushing for,
they don't hold the same values as those people.
The CRT stuff, they absolutely do not hold the same values that we all grew up with. At least Generation X did. Generation X grew up and we were like, we're all poor. And we're all listening to like Nirvana and Pearl Jam and AC/DC.
When we were kids and now, I didn't give a crap what color you were. You could have been pink with purple polka dots. Yeah. But if you listened to Pearl Jam and you wanted to play some D&D, let's go, man.
Yeah. Like our generation, we actually learned from our previous parents treat everybody the same. Stupid. Okay, treat everybody the same. And somehow our kids have learned, not my kids. My kids are awesome. Some of you people out there have taught your kids to be racists. I don't know what you all are doing.
You're right about that. I looked at my grandparents and even my parents, and I was like, I'm not. That's dumb. Why are y'all doing that?
Yeah.
Why do you think that way? Why did you? And I'm hell. So
we can't solve these problems though.
No,
I mean, like we can't other than to say we're not part of
our children.
I reject white nationalism. I reject white supremacy. And I also reject critical race theory and segregation and like be kind to your neighbors. Hey, love the people around you. That's what I say.
All about learning what your heritage is and where you're from and loving your heritage and you're from. I mean, my heritage comes like white for a long way. I actually have a lot of Cherokee Indian in me from on both sides of my family, but my last name is a Norse last name from 2,000 years ago. But you, celebrate your heritage, but
I have no idea. I have no idea where my family comes from. I mean, I know that some part of my family is German, and some part of my family, they migrated to the United States like, I don't know, more than a century ago, and some of them are just like people from Texas area or whatever, or. But you know what? Like, I really don't know where they came from, and it doesn't matter because all of the things that they went through and all of the things that they did and all of that, whatever, like that has nothing to do with me, where I'm at, because I had very little, and I made the life I had whatever opportunities I had or made and then exploited, and then making the only thing that matters is like where you're at now and who you're kind to and who you love around you. That's all that matters. The rest of it doesn't matter. Like you get no extra value because you're the descendant of King Charles II or whatever.
Right. That's what that's what I was joking one time with my brother. I was like, our descendants, if not descendants, but if our ancestors that was in the country, moving across the country long ago, if they were anything like me, if I'm anything like my ancestors, if they were anything like I am today, they got to Western Kentucky and were like, screw this, I'm tired, I'm done. We're just build a house.
We ain't walking any farther. We're not walking any farther.
That's why we live in Western Kentucky. If they were anything like me, they were like, all right, I'm done. We're stopping.
All right. Well, I think we've almost solved all of the problems of the world, Deacon.
Today,
I do want to say this. I do want to say two things. Firstly, I want to say that Beto O'Rourke.
Who's that?
You don't know who Beto, right? So Beto O'Rourke was a Texas congressperson, and then he ran.
He's not a Fraggle.
He's the stupidest person probably to ever run for office.
Oh, okay.
But Beto O'Rourke is running for governor. He ran in the presidential election in 2020.
Okay.
Yeah. So prior to that, he was a Texas congressperson in Texas, and then he wrote a book. And so to try to elevate his profile, he ran for president and got mercilessly crushed after he said, after somebody asked him, are you going to take are you going to take people's guns? And his answer to that on TV, on camera was, hell yeah, we're going to take their guns. And to which every other Texan in the world was, come over to my house and take my guns, asshole. Come try to take my guns.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. This dude said, oh, hell yeah, we're going to take their guns. And surprisingly, immediately crashed. Immediately lost.
Imagine that.
Well, now he's running for Texas governor. And currently he's running against Greg Abbott. Greg Abbott is our governor in Texas. He's the governor that is giving rides to, oh my God, this ad. Get out of here, ad, with these nasty fucking toenails. Get out of here.
I was wondering.
Oh my God. Anyway, so Greg Abbott is the governor of Texas. If you don't know, if you've never seen a photo of Greg Abbott is in a wheelchair. He cannot stand.
Right.
He's in a wheelchair. He's, FDR style. And Greg Abbott is sending like migrants to New York, Chicago, wherever, Well, Beto O'Rourke, Mr. O'Rourke, his real name's Robert. He's losing by 11 points to Greg Abbott right now in a poll from Interactive Polls. So Mr. O'Rourke is getting crushed. So I just wanted to put that out there. Oh, hey, actually, University of Houston professor Brandon Rottinghouse said Abbott's solid and even growing lead is a natural result of incumbency advantage, his edge, money, broadcasting, airtime. People are mostly worried about the border and the economy, and when the race is about those things, Abbott's in better shape because he's perceived to handle things much better. I know Brandon Rottinghouse. He was one of my professors when I was in grad school. He often gives political statements around this time of year. Anyway, Beto is losing to Greg Abbott. Greg Abbott is winning right now in current polls. So I just want to point that out. F you, Beto. You're not taking anybody's guns. You're not taking shit. And the other thing is that apparently the CDC has acknowledged, I don't know if this is new, but the CDC has acknowledged that myocarditis and pericarditis after the receipt of the mRNA COVID-19 vaccines among adolescents and young adults is not an insignificant risk. So,
all right.
So if you're out there saying like kids should be getting the vax, talk to your doctor, because I've known about this for a while. The CDC continues to recommend that the COVID-19 vaccine for everyone 5 years of age and older, but there is an enhanced risk of myocarditis and pericarditis, which is like swelling around the heart. So you need to talk to your doctor. You need to talk to your doctor and not get your medical advice from Twitter.
Do not get your medical advice from a bald, goateed, glasses idiot.
Yeah, I'm not telling you not to take the vax. I'm
That's
saying
right.
go talk to your
I'm
doctor
not saying a word.
and ask him, hey, doc, how should we get the vax? And they'll say, well, there's pros and cons. And be like, okay, is there a chance that my kid who's 16 years and older might have a heart attack and drop dead? Is that a risk at all?
Wait, I've got to stop
Possible.
you. Do
Sure.
you really think you must? I don't believe that. If we polled 100 doctors and had lined them up and asked them that question, should I get the vax? That only question, like you said, I would bet my house that 99 out of 100 of them, at least 99 out of 100 of them would say yes immediately without hesitation.
Sure.
They would not say, well, there's pros and cons. I believe there could possibly be that doctor out there that would say there are pros and cons.
You got to ask the question the right way, Deacon, though. You got to say it like this. First, you'd say it like this. You'd say, do you recommend the vaccination? To which they would have to say, probably for insurance reasons, yes, I have to recommend it. Maybe they would, hypothetically. We'll say hypothetically because we don't know because this is not medical advice. However, if you said, hey, doctor, do you also have a kid that is 16 years old? Yes, I do. Oh,
right.
Would you make your kid take the vaccine? Ooh,
yeah, there's your question.
I declined to answer your question.
But I also know for a fact that the medical professionals now have these freaking computers and programs. And when they ask you all these questions, when you go to sit down in the doctor's office and the little nurse is asking you all that questions, typing on those and whatnot, asking you if you've been breathing heavy and if you've had some aches and all this crap I'm talking about. Well, those damn computers now are flagging. I was shown this, that they have a button down on the bottom that flags out that's like, you need to recommend this, and this because we have said, my fucking knee hurts or, my back ache. And they try to bill you and, try to get you for as much as possible. So, yeah, I don't think I think every freaking doctor would say, absolutely, you need to get a vaccine. Even though there is I don't even know how to fucking word this without worrying about YouTube being fucking idiots.
Yeah, right. So this is the only thing I'm going to say. Talk to your doctor and find out if your doctor also has kids your age and if they would ask them what they would do for their own kids and see if their answer is exactly the same. Because it turns out, Deacon,
do what you feel safe. Do what you feel is safe.
There's no answer. There is no way to say reduce your risk to zero. There's risks in both sides, but it's very real that there's a risk that taking the vaccine in an adolescent, 16 years or so, can provoke myocarditis or pericarditis, which is a swelling around the heart, and it affects the heart. It's possible. Now, does COVID do that? Yeah, COVID does that too. Is the risk of the vaccine doing that more or less than the risk of having COVID? Don't know. You should talk to your doctor. That's what you're saying. But previously, I think the CDC did not acknowledge that this was a risk. So anyway, yeah. Anyway, so go talk to your doctor. But according to Joe Biden, pandemic's over. So even though the pandemic is over, and get off of my screen. Even though the pandemic's over, the United States military is still forced to take the vaccine. And if they do not take the vaccine, they are being ejected from the military. That's still happening, even though the pandemic's over. Isn't that interesting?
I wonder if that would have any repercussions 10 years down the road with military numbers wise when some shit happens.
I wonder if the members of the United States military are going to sue the president for forcing them to take a vaccine when there is no pandemic, according to the president. Wouldn't that be interesting? I don't know. Well, guys, this has probably been the best episode ever because we talked about like the Shroud of Turin, the Spear of Longinus, or the Spear of Destiny. Jesus Christ, the movie 2. I forget the name of the movie. Amazing stuff.
Christ.
Passion of the Christ 2. That'll happen. That's going to happen. Constantine, go watch Constantine Deacon. Guys, if you haven't already, please hit the like button, hit the share button, go to social media. Look, I know you don't use Facebook. I don't use Facebook, but I'm asking you to put the share button and send it to Facebook and be like, hey, watch this crazy show. Maybe not this one because we talked about some like white supremacy stuff. This might be the wrong one.
This is the bad show. I don't know
find a different one.
Why do we always end up talking about crap that's
messed up, dude? I don't know. Messed up. If there's any white supremacists watching, fuck you. All right, that's it. That's all I got. That's all I got. That's my definitive statement on the matter.
What's tomorrow? Wednesday is what kind of stories are we having tomorrow?
I don't know. On Friday, I think last Friday we didn't do any Florida Man, but I couldn't find any good Florida Man stories. So once again, Manuel insists that I must watch Eric von Däniken, and I swear I watched like half, but I'm such a busy dude. I will get to it. But apparently he believes something about. What do you think about aliens building pyramids?
Yep, levitation.
Sure. Okay. Maybe it did. Maybe it didn't. All right. Maybe we should talk about aliens or something. We'll see. Find some space stuff.
The pyramids.
Oh my God!
All the pyramids from all around the world are built on ley lines.
Yeah, ley lines. I believe that. Deacon, there's a movie called Moonfall on HBO. Do you have HBO right now?
No.
Oh, okay. If you can watch Moonfall, you should watch Moonfall. You should drink something and watch Moonfall because you're like, oh, it's a space movie like Armageddon. What the hell are they doing? Why is it? What is going on in this movie?
Okay.
It's amazing.
Can find it.
I watched it last night and I was like, Moonfall is like 11 million times better than Thor 4. Thor 4 was.
You didn't like Love and Thunder? Yeah, what did you not like about it? Real quick.
Dumb. Hey,
why did you think it was dumb?
We've taken Thor, who is a conflicted character, and we've made him more fun by making him just dumb. But how do we make him seem less dumb in this movie? I know. Let's make every other character in this movie stupider than Thor, and then he'll be the smart one, right? No, that's stupid.
That's not.
It was dumb.
It's not supposed to be a serious movie. It was a campy movie. And I didn't really catch that everybody else was dumber than him. The thing that I got from the movie, the one thing that kind of pissed me off from the movie, I liked it. I thought it was interesting. I mean, how they're having to tell these.
Dr. Jane Foster was dumber than Thor in this movie.
Well, she was also battling stage 4 cancer, and then a huge freaking trying to keep her alive. That's really kind of
eat my hammer.
That was kind of funny. Her trying.
I get it was a joke. I get it.
Her struggling with trying to come up with some, she's not good at. That was kind of fun. But what I hated about the movie was the fact that Thor has lost everyone. His mom, his dad, his brother, Jane.
Okay.
I mean, he lost. I thought the whole relationship with Stormbreaker and Mjolnir was hilarious. I looked at it like comic-y.
All right.
Like, this is a funny comic book movie. They've got screaming
I'm going to take it.
That are pulling their freaking. But at the end, I really liked the end because I've thought about this before. We can't have Thor and Iron Man and Captain America forever. Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Hemsworth, they can't do it forever. They can on page. They can on the page.
Sure.
But they can't in the movies. So they have to pass the torch.
Yeah, but they killed the person they passed the torch to. Jane Foster died.
No, she was done too. Natalie Portman is done. She couldn't be Jane Foster forever.
Of course.
They had to pass the torch to a younger.
Let me bring up these two things.
A lot of people don't like that.
Let me bring up these two things. So first, you talked about the personality of Stormbreaker. Oh, it's actually some sort of a sentient thing, and it's upset that he's hanging out with Mjolnir. Okay. So you have a sentient Stormbreaker. That's awesome. It has the powers of the Bifrost. That's awesome. Turns out that's the way to get to eternity. Okay, great. Yeah. So sentient Stormbreaker is helping the bad guy get to eternity.
Maybe he wasn't. Who
Fucking
knows?
kill that dumb axe. How about this one?
The axe was being held down by the freaking shadow, so maybe Gore
it's
had
sentient.
done something.
It could be like,
maybe the necro sword.
I think you're evil, dude.
Something.
I'm not going to help. No, the axe was like, I think you're evil, dude. I'm not going to help. It was like, let's go. Let's keep going. I'm going to go. Let's go to let's get it. Okay, but hold on. We're not done yet.
But I think that's a little.
We're not done yet. No. We're not done yet. And
we're not done.
So what was the bad guy's name? Gore. Gore's upset because his daughter died, so he kills all the gods in the universe so he can get to eternity, so he can kill all the gods. And then Thor's like, "Oh, you could just bring your daughter back." He's like, "Oh, I don't care. Spoilers. No. I can bring my daughter back.
Okay,
all right. I'll bring my daughter back.
Wrong.
Who's the good guy in the movie?
I think
the good guy in the movie's Gore.
I think you saw that wrong, JJ. I did not see it that way. Okay? I look at shit differently, just like I do all the M. Night Shyamalan movies that everybody says they hate Signs because it's about an alien invasion. It's not a goddamn movie about an alien invasion. It's a movie about a man losing his faith. That's what the fucking movie is about. The setting is an alien invasion. So anyway, so in that part, Gore never said he was going to eternity to kill all the gods. Someone else assumed that.
The vow I make is all gods will die. Literally, the opening scene in the movie. The vow I make is all gods will die.
That's fine. But he never said he was going to eternity. As far as I know, he might have. Okay. I'll have to go back and watch it. But I was under the assumption that when Thor said, you can just ask for a love back, I was under the assumption that when Christian Bale turned around and looked at him, that it was like, you dumbass. That's what I was going to do anyway. I thought he was going to eternity to ask for his daughter back.
Sure. I'm going to go with you. And guess what? That means that this entire movie, you know who the bad guy is? Zeus and Thor and dumbass God. Thor was the bad guy in the movie, stopping a dad from getting his daughter back. That's what this movie was about. It is the stupidest movie ever.
I liked it. I thought Christian Bale did a good job. I mean, and that the God pissed him off.
I would have done it too. I'd been like, I'll kill Thor and Zeus and
I would
all of these other people.
Dad,
every one of
my daughter suffer, I would have done the same thing. So
no. Imagine me liking a movie that you and your brother absolutely.
I'm
just being critical. I'm taking them at their notes. The movie put out this information, and I'm like, that's stupid. Okay. That is dumb. Oh, but it's just gags. It's just gags. It's jokes. Okay. That's not the Thor movie that I want. I want a Thor movie that has consequence and weight and action and heart and all of that. And this was, Thor was the villain in the Thor movie. Both of the Thors were the villain in the Thor movie.
How in the fuck, Jeremy, is it woke points? I'm so goddamn sick of that fucking word woke, because our side is using that goddamn word so much that it's fucking like the word Nazi. It's getting to the point where it don't fucking mean anything. All right. When you say the word woke, that automatically makes me think that you fucking got 20 IQ points lower than me. All right. So first of all, I want to say that about that fucking word. It's woke points to keep them in good graces of idiots who aren't actual fans. So next you call me a fucking idiot and that I'm not an actual fan. Well, kiss my ass. All right, because I am, and I'm not a fucking idiot, but I'm also not a goddamn person that hates every fucking thing that I fucking see all the time. Everybody hates every fucking thing anymore, and I'm sick of it.
I just didn't.
All right, I gotta go.
I did like Moonfall though. Go watch Moonfall. Oh, he's out. Wow. All right, he's done. We gotta go.